The Super Bowl stage is unlike any other in sports. It's a platform that has produced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows for players over the years, demanding ice-cold composure and quality of the highest order. It takes special performances to get a team across the line, and in today's video, we're going to remind ourselves who has etched their names into the history books with performances of a lifetime. This is exactly what's happened to the last 20 Super Bowl MVPs.
Super Bowl 39 between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots.
Now, our first Super Bowl MVP is Deion Branch, who played a pivotal role in securing New England their second consecutive Super Bowl to cap off the 2004 season in their third in 4 years. Anytime the Philadelphia Eagles fired up a blitz, Brady immediately sent the ball in the direction of Deion Branch, who was regularly getting open over the middle. In total, Branch reeled in 11 receptions for 133 yards, constantly keeping the chains moving while also wearing out and frustrating the defense all game long. A surprise Mike Vrabel touchdown and a late Donovan McNabb interception then sealed the deal, giving the Pats a 24-21 victory over the Eagles. Branch's 133 receiving yards were 102 more than the Pats' next best receiver, emphasizing just how impactful he really was that game. Hines Ward got the honors in Super Bowl 40 though in the 2005 season, hauling in 5 catches for 123 yards and a touchdown in the Steelers' 21-10 victory over Seattle. Honestly, Ward found himself at the end of several different crucial plays from this Super Bowl, but none more so than his 43-yard reception that he had, which has become one of the most iconic plays in Super Bowl history.
Pitch it to the left, and now here's the handoff on the reverse to Antoine Randall. He's going to throw it down the field. There's a man open. Touchdown, Pittsburgh!
That iconic trick play earned the 25th spot on the NFL's top 50 clutch Super Bowl plays list, actually. And honestly, it's just one of the all-time memorable plays from this video. And now, after falling short a few times in the big game or several times in the Super Bowl, Peyton Manning finally got the job done in Super Bowl 41. And with him getting it done too, he also got the award of being the Super Bowl MVP. In the Colts' 29-17 victory over the Chicago Bears, Manning had to overcome wet conditions in a remarkable Devin Hester opening kickoff to see off the Bears, eventually ending up with 247 yards and a touchdown on the day. With Manning's one touchdown coming on a busted coverage, there are many who will argue that this was one of the weaker Super Bowl MVP winners on this list, but I don't really think that Manning is going to be too bothered about that, considering he did win the game.
The wait is almost over.
Now, from one Manning brother to the other, we have Eli Manning claiming the Super Bowl MVP in the 2007 Super Bowl by beating the then hunting or perfect season hunting Patriots at the time and defeating the 17-0 Patriots, which nobody could have predicted. The signature moment of this game has stood out as one of the most iconic plays, if not the most iconic play in Super Bowl history, facing a 3rd and 5 with just over 1 minute left on the clock, trailing by 5 points. Manning appeared to be swallowed up by the Patriots defense. Somehow though, he escaped before firing the ball downfield, where David Tyree secured the catch with some help from his helmet. Manning then had to convert another 3rd and long before unfurling a floater to Plaxico Burress in the end zone, which was caught to give New York a lead with just 35 seconds left on the clock. Eli Manning's clutch game-winning drive capped off a 255-yard, 2-touchdown outing, which led the Giants to one of the biggest upsets in NFL history, ruining the New England Patriots' dreams of a perfect season.
The Cardinals will get down to business in Super Bowl 43.
And now, after 2 consecutive Super Bowl MVPs coming from the quarterback department, for this Super Bowl, we actually flip back to the wide receiver department in Santonio Holmes. Going up against the Arizona Cardinals, Holmes was a force to be reckoned with, collecting 131 yards and a touchdown on 9 receptions. What made this performance so epic though was that 4 of those catches came on the final drive, which had started with the Steelers trailing by 20 points to 23 with 2.5 minutes remaining. Holmes popped up time and time again for Ben Roethlisberger on that drive, surviving tough hits and producing plenty of yards after the catch to bring in the Steelers to the red zone. Then, with the championship on the line, Ben Roethlisberger found his guy again at the back corner of the end zone, where Holmes finished the job with a stunning toe tap catch. And personally for me, I'm from Arizona, I'm not a Cardinals fan, but he didn't get his feet down. Okay, next Super Bowl.
It's New Orleans against Indianapolis, and it's Super Bowl 44.
Super Bowl 44, though, featured an iconic quarterback matchup pitting Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints against the regular season MVP and Peyton Manning and his Indianapolis Colts. Despite Manning dominating the regular season, it was Brees who got the bragging rights here, tying the Super Bowl record for passing completions at the time with 32. These came from 39 attempts and it yielded 288 yards and 2 touchdowns en route to a 31-17 victory and a Super Bowl MVP award for Brees. I mean, the most iconic moment from this game, though, was after a tense first half, Sean Payton's bold decision to go for an onside kick to start the second half proved to be the turning point, with Brees then clinically picking apart the Colts defense and finding Pierre Thomas and Jeremy Shockey for second half touchdowns. Brees' play was an ideal blueprint for getting across the line in a big game, perfectly encapsulating what it meant to manage a game from the quarterback position, taking what the defense gives you and not offering up any mistakes.
Welcome to this matchup in Super Bowl 45.
Next up, though, we have Aaron Rodgers, who had a very tough task on his hands in Super Bowl 45, going up against a vaunted Pittsburgh Steelers defense that featured Troy Polamalu, James Harrison, Ryan Clark, and plenty of other top-tier defenders. Not derailed by the star power, though, Aaron Rodgers tore up the Steelers defense to the tune of 304 yards and 3 touchdowns. The future Hall of Famer was at his brilliant best, bouncing around in the pocket and finding his receivers with dart after dart. Most notably, though, on 2 stunning touchdown passes of over 20 yards, one to Jordy Nelson, one to Greg Jennings before the half. And Pittsburgh didn't go away easily, which made Rodgers need to be a little bit clutch in the dying moments. And of course, he was converting a crucial 3rd down and several other impressive passes to set up the game-sealing field goal to make it a 31-25 Super Bowl win.
New York Giants and New England Patriots will kick off Super Bowl 46.
And now for the second time in this video, we have Eli Manning securing another Super Bowl MVP by defeating, as we all know, say it with me, Tom Brady. A 75% completion rate for 296 yards and 1 touchdown tells you all you need to know that Manning was on point for this one, but it was his clutch game-winning drive inside the last 5 minutes that made him an easy choice for the Super Bowl MVP. Manning let rip on several crucial passes, including a truly outrageous deep pass on the left sideline to Mario Manningham.
To go, still down 2. Eli winging it downfield to Manningham. Play the game.
Manning's composure to march his team 88 yards upfield to set up the go-ahead rushing touchdown with under a minute left to play in the game was a truly defining moment of how clutch he was, making him a worthy winner of the Super Bowl MVP award in Super Bowl 46.
Ravens, the 49ers, the first Super Bowl to be contested here.
Now, from one clutch performance from a quarterback to the next quarterback that had another clutch performance, we have Joe Flacco with this one. He won the award after leading his Baltimore Ravens to a thrilling 34-31 victory over San Francisco. Flacco was nearly flawless in the first half, tossing 3 touchdowns to give Baltimore a 21-6 lead. As we all know, the lights went out at halftime thanks to Beyonce, but in the second half, the touch on his 13-yard touchdown pass to Anquan Bolden and the power of his 56-yard bomb to Jacoby Jones showed the versatility in Joe Flacco's game, finding a way to overcome a very talented 49ers defense. Those 49ers did threaten to spoil the party in the second half, but another Jacoby Jones touchdown on a kickoff return and a strong outing by the defense made sure Flacco's elite first half did not go to waste.
Legion of boom against Peyton Manning and the #1 offense, record-setting offense of the Broncos.
Now in Super Bowl 48, we have the record-breaking Denver Broncos offense facing off against the vaunted Legion of Boom in what was meant to be a box office standoff. Instead, the Broncos' formidable passing offense led by Peyton Manning was completely swarmed by Seattle's defense, leading the Seahawks to demolish their opponents by 43 points to 8. It was an all-around defensive display of dominance by the Legion of Boom, but it was a linebacker in Malcolm Smith who stole the show with 1 pick six, 1 fumble recovery, and 10 tackles. He became the first defensive player in this video at least to win the Super Bowl MVP award in the first in a decade, with cornerback Dexter Jackson being the last in the 2003 season.
Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots will kick off Super Bowl 49.
Now in 2014 though, we have the Seahawks actually making it back to the Super Bowl, this time taking on Tom Brady, who, well, you all know what moment's about I'm gonna have to talk about right now. Of course, Brady did have much more success against Seattle's vaunted defense than Manning did, completing 37 of his 50 pass attempts for 328 yards and 4 touchdowns, the most ever thrown against the Legion of Boom defense. His 37 pass completions set a new Super Bowl record at the time, and he was essentially flawless in the fourth quarter, firing 2 short passes to Edelman and Amendola to help put his team in front after falling to a 10-point deficit. And now, as I said before, it did take one of Super Bowl history's most controversial play calls, just handed off to Marshawn Lynch next time, and an incredible interception from Malcolm Butler to secure the 28-24 win. But Brady certainly deserved the MVP award for this incredible performance against an incredible defense.
The Panthers and the Broncos at Super Bowl 50.
Now, 1 year after the incredible Seahawks defense didn't manage to win the game, the Denver Broncos managed to absolutely manhandle the team they played in this Super Bowl, and one of the main reasons because of that was because of Von Miller. Going up against the regular season MVP and Cam Newton in his 15-1 Panthers, Von Miller went absolutely berserk, recording 2.5 sacks, 6 tackles, 1 pass breakup, and 2 forced fumbles. Those 2 forced fumbles proved to be the biggest plays in the game, with the first coming in the first quarter, being recovered in the end zone for a defensive touchdown. The second fumble, though, was a little bit more significant, which it did come against Cam Newton, with just 4 minutes to go, setting up CJ Anderson's game-clinching rushing touchdown to win the game. With Peyton Manning also having 2 turnovers and completing just 13 pass attempts, yes, 13 in this game, Miller was comfortably Denver's most impactful player on the day and worthy of the MVP.
Welcome to Super Bowl Sunday.
Now, for Super Bowl 51, or as we all call it, 28-3, I think we all know who got the MVP for this one, and I think we all remember exactly where we were when this game happened. I mean, arguably, this is the greatest comeback in the history of sports that took place on the biggest stage in Super Bowl 51, when Tom Brady completed a Super Bowl record 43 passes to lead his Patriots back from 28-3 down to win by 34 points to 28 in overtime. Those 43 passes yielded 466 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, with the GOAT flipping a switch at halftime to get the job done. He was decisive, pinpoint accurate, and a little lucky at times, but Brady's performance was simply magical. He needed to be perfect in the second half, and he pretty much was, overcoming several 3rd and 4th down situations to lead his team to 25 unanswered points before scoring the decisive touchdown in overtime.
Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
Philadelphia taking on New England as we get set for Super Bowl.
Now in Super Bowl 52, though, it'll go down as one of the best of all time, headlined by a sensational outing by Nick Foles, who started the season as Philadelphia's backup quarterback. Having just been thrusted in the lineup to close out the season, Foles thrived on the biggest stage against the NFL's greatest dynasty right now, in the New England Patriots, completing 28 of his 43 pass attempts for 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, in addition to 1 receiving touchdown on the iconic Philly special.
Snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
With Tom Brady also showing up with 505 yards and 3 touchdowns, Foles needed to be perfect, and he was. His touchdown passes to Alshon Jeffrey and Corey Clement were absolute beauties, and he was clutch on 3rd and 4th downs. In total, this has to be the best ever performance by Nick Foles as a quarterback, and it just so happened to come in the Super Bowl in a stunning 41-33 upset win. Now, to go basically from one of the most exciting Super Bowls of all time between the Eagles and Patriots, we then go to one of the biggest snooze fests of all time, with then it being the Patriots and the Rams in that 13-3 Super Bowl that was just atrocious to watch. I mean, what's crazy too is despite several Patriots defenders having stellar games, including Stephon Gilmore, who had 3 pass breakups in the game-sealing interception, it was Julian Edelman who was crowned the Super Bowl MVP. In fairness to the wide receiver, in a game with little to no offense, his 10 catches for 141 yards did make a huge difference, constantly getting open against a stingy Rams secondary and adding plenty of yards after the catch. Edelman's 141 yards did account for over half of Tom Brady's production on the day, but it is unusual to have a Super Bowl MVP who didn't get on the score sheet. Now, our next Super Bowl MVP, though, we're going to mention a couple more times before the end of this video, with that being Patrick Mahomes. His first taste of Super Bowl action came in the 2019 season, going up against the #1 defense in the NFL in San Francisco. With 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter and with KC trailing by 10 points, hope appeared to be just diminishing for the Chiefs, only for Mahomes to flip the game on its head with his legendary 3rd and 15 bomb to Tyreek Hill.
Launches down the middle, Hill, open, caught!
From then on, there was absolutely no stopping him as Mahomes led the Chiefs to 21 unanswered 4th quarter points, giving KC the first Super Bowl win of the Mahomes era. In just his second year as a starter, Mahomes overcame 2 interceptions and 4 sacks to pass for 286 yards and 2 touchdowns to go along with 29 yards and another score on the ground. It was his ability to extend plays and deliver under pressure that made him such an easy pick for the Super Bowl MVP.
To Tampa and Super Bowl 55.
Now in the 2020 Super Bowl though, what appeared to be the beginning of the Chiefs dynasty was temporarily put on hold as Tom Brady reminded everyone just how special he was. His last couple of years in New England did suggest the decline was underway, but he proved people wrong by passing for 4,633 yards and 40 touchdowns en route to a Super Bowl appearance in year 1 in Tampa Bay. In the big game, Tom Brady was in typical Brady form, picking apart the Chiefs defense, completing 72% of his passes for 201 yards and 3 touchdowns. Most of the damage was done by his trusty tight end Rob Gronkowski, but Leonard Fournette, Mike Evans, Cameron Brate, and Antonio Brown also had over 20 yards apiece. It was a typical Brady masterclass, outthinking Casey's defense and spreading the ball around with pinpoint accuracy. The 31-9 final score was a fitting result, giving him his 7th Lombardi trophy and Tampa Bay's 2nd.
Welcome to the Super Bowl.
Now, Cooper Kupp is going to be the focus of our next Super Bowl MVP, capping off a truly insane season in which he won the Triple Crown with 145 receptions, 1,947 yards, and 16 touchdowns. This incredible form carried through into the Super Bowl, where Kupp reeled in 8 receptions for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. In what turned out to be a 3-point game, the Rams winning 23-20 over the Bengals, Kupp proved to be the difference. He had his work cut out for him when fellow wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. left with an injury, but he proved more than capable of being able to pick up the slack. On the last drive alone, Kupp had 1 run and 3 catches to put the game on ice and put them in the red zone. He then forced a crucial defensive holding call on 3rd down before capping off things with the game-winning touchdown.
Pass.
It's Super Bowl 57 coming your way live.
Now, the start of the three-peat, that began in Super Bowl 57 when the Chiefs did defeat the Philadelphia Eagles in Arizona. This is where Patrick Mahomes completed 77% of his passes for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was going to take something special to defeat an equally impressive performance from its opposite number in Jalen Hurts, and boy was Mahomes just special in this game. Despite playing on a sprained ankle, Mahomes orchestrated 3 second-half touchdown drives before setting up the game-winning field goal with a vintage Patrick Mahomes 26-yard scramble.
In trouble, gets away. Mahomes racing with the bad ankle and all. Inside the 20, and he's taken down.
When his team did need him the most, Mahomes delivered, eradicating any mistakes from his game and scoring points on every single second-half drive to produce the 38-35 victory.
49ers and the Chiefs in Las Vegas, and what a week in Las Vegas.
And now for the 3rd time in this video in Super Bowl 58, we have Patrick Mahomes as our Super Bowl MVP, once again downing the San Francisco 49ers to get the job done. By now, Mahomes has established himself as already arguably one of the best to ever play the game, and he showed why here, completing 34 of 46 pass attempts for 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, with MVS and rookie Rashee Rice as his primary outside weapons. As is often the case, the clutch quarterback also made an impact with his legs, carrying the ball 9 times for 66 yards. In a low-scoring game against a very good 49er defense, Mahomes led his team 2 points on each of their last 3 drives in regulation before executing a vintage 13-play, 75-yard touchdown drive in overtime to secure the Chiefs their 2nd Super Bowl victory in as many years.
1st and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City!